Hey everyone, welcome to the Coach Catalyst podcast. This show is about helping you grow as a coach by standing on the shoulders of giants. Each show, you get a different mentor in your ear. The early motivations, the successes, the failures, the tools, the tricks, and the insight into where the industry is going. All of it so you can make your own dent in the world. Remember, success leaves clues. Now, without further ado, on to the show.
Welcome to the Coach Catalyst podcast. I'm your host and guest today, Trevor Wittwer. So this is supposed to be the first podcast, but maybe you cheated and you listened to some of other guests first, and then you're coming back to this one. This is a solo episode where I'm going to lay out what you can expect from this podcast and really some background on me so you get some context on to where I'm coming from. Because my goal with this podcast, or my role in this podcast, is really to bring out the questions in the guests, the answers in the guests, so that you get what you need in order to change more lives. So a little background on me. I grew up in the world of athletics, played 3 sports in high school, played every sport in elementary school, was fortunate enough to play college basketball and eventually play basketball overseas. And during my college career, I studied exercise science, mainly because I was obsessed with performance and trying to get every ounce of performance I could out of my own athletic career. And then once I finished my athletic career, I got really interested in other people's performance, and not just athletics, but just performance in life. And that might mean losing weight. That might be just improving their life, improving their mobility, getting stronger, all the things we do in the weight room. And so I started my professional career as a coach and was helping people do all of those things. The career started like many people, where I was training my mom and my stepdad in the local community center. And eventually I built up a clientele big enough that I opened my own gym, and that one gym turned into 4 gyms, and that's where we're at today. And because of those gyms, I had certain frustrations. And a buddy of mine from college who I played basketball with owned a gym in another state and had similar frustrations. And because of these frustrations, that's probably why you're listening to this podcast, because you heard of Coach Catalyst. So Coach Catalyst is the software company that we started to really solve our own frustrations. We were running transformation challenges. We were running nutrition coaching programs, but we weren't doing them well. At least we weren't providing a great customer experience. We were only really dealing with the client that was in front of us, and we didn't have any way to interact with them outside of our 4 walls. That didn't require like hiring extra people or a ton of legwork. So that's really how Coach Catalyst, formerly known as Habit Catalyst, was born. And Kane and I are going to do an episode, if it's not up already, on the history of Coach Catalyst, how it started, where the idea came from, and really some trials and tribulations, and some successes that have allowed us to bring the company to today. So definitely check out that episode when it comes out. Like any brand new business that you start from scratch, there's a lot of bad things that happen, and then there's a few things that you get right that allows you to stay in business for more than just a couple of years. So definitely check out that episode. But back to the podcast. So why start a podcast? Number one is I really enjoy podcasts. I like listening to them. I listen to them when I am working out, when I'm in the weight room. I listen to them when I'm rucking. I listen to them when I go for walks. I listen to them when I'm in the car. And so podcasts have played an important role in my life, and especially in learning. Through podcasts, I've gotten access virtually to people I would probably never get access to in person. And so I get to hear about their struggles. I get to hear about their successes. And this is a saying I like, is standing on the shoulder of giants. So I get to stand on the shoulders of people that have come before me, which allows me to see further, right? And so learning from other people's mistakes rather than making those mistakes myself. So for me personally, podcasts have been an important piece of my personal growth, which makes me want to create one and share it with the world. And because I've been in the industry long enough, I've been in the industry for probably a decade, if not a little bit longer, I have made friends in the industry, and I have access to people that maybe you don't have access to, and really smart people and people that have built phenomenal businesses. And when I was thinking about this podcast that I wanted to create for Coach Catalyst, I thought about the podcasts that I really liked. And then one of my favorite podcasts is How I Built This with Guy Raz, where he interviews people that have created some of the most well-known companies, right? And so I wanted to do that for the fitness and health industry, is talk to the people that have had a ton of success in this field. And we're going to do that. We're going to talk to the biggest and the brightest names, but we're also going to talk to people that maybe you haven't heard of, because there's a lot of coaches in this industry that just aren't known because they're spending all their time coaching rather than spending their time getting known. And we're going to have those hard conversations. We're going to talk about the things that they've never talked about to anyone about. They're going to talk about the struggles. They're going to talk about the beginning, and we're going to talk about some of the triumphs as well. And then a big piece that I want to pull out of each person is, where do they think this industry is going? If they were going to start all over again, how would they do it? And so for you, if you're a brand new coach, you're going to get a lot of insight in how can you speed up the process rather than all the trial and error. You can kind of skip that and get right to the good stuff, because there's an ugly truth about this industry, coaching, really, especially in fitness, is people don't stay in it very long. They get in it because they have a passion and they love helping people and they want to change the world, but they get out of it very quickly because they couldn't figure out how to be successful in it. They couldn't figure out how to support their family. They couldn't figure out how to create a schedule and a life that they enjoyed and to make it all work. And so a big piece of this podcast is going to be talking to the people that have figured it out, the people that have created, they've created I don't want to say life, because that's not the right term, but they've created impact in this industry, but has also served them, where they've been able to get what they need out of it in order to continue serving in this industry. Because if you're not getting what you need, you can't continue to serve, right? Just the old adage of put on your own oxygen mask before you put on anyone else's. If you're putting on everyone else's oxygen mask, you're not going to be around very long. And that's what we see in the coaching industry way, way, way too often. Too many great people are leaving this industry. So a big piece of this podcast is going to look at the tools, the tips, the tricks, so that you can make a career out of this industry, a fulfilling, a fruitful career, and ultimately change a lot of lives. So I'm super excited about this podcast. I'm super excited about the conversations I'm going to have with people. And I have a notebook already from the interviews that we've done, full of notes, and I'll probably have 10 notebooks by the time we get done with the first couple of years, the first couple of seasons. So I hope you come along with me for the journey. And there are going to be some longer episodes, so stick with me. There's a ton of nuggets in it, and I try to keep it as interesting as I can so that you stay engaged and you're getting value out of it. But press play, stop, take notes, come and go as you please. But I hope you come along with me on this journey. I hope you learn a thing or two, and maybe someday we'll get to chat. So, all right, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for listening today. See you later.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Coach Catalyst podcast. If you are a coach looking to do more for your clients than just workouts, give Coach Catalyst a test drive. Try it for 14 days. Jump on call with your personal strategy coach, Ashley, and see how easy technology can be, all for free. Tell them Trevor sent you. Until next time, keep changing lives.